Welcome to the Maritime Vision podcast. I'm your host, Paul Wioli. In each episode, we bring you exclusive interviews with maritime professionals, industry experts, and students. Our guests come from different backgrounds, including shipping, yachting, offshore, and more. Our goal is to give you all the knowledge you need to succeed in the maritime industry. Hello everyone, welcome back to a new podcast episode, and today we are with Charles. Welcome Charles, it's a pleasure for me to having you today. So Charles has a lot of experience as a freight forwarder, and he created his own company, so he will explain his background. It's very interesting. So Charles, can you talk a little bit about yourself, please?
Hi, Paul Louis. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Charles Dridi, as you mentioned. I'm based in France, in the region of Normandy, in the city of Rouen. I'm 47. I have a background as a freight forwarder. I have worked with different actors, small actors, middle actors, and big actors. The big actors, I can cite, for example, Bolloré or Maersk. So I'm very happy to assist to your podcast. I had the pleasure to vision a lot of your podcast, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting
Thank you
me.
again, thank you. So can you explain a little bit? It's very interesting. You work in the logistics transportation industry. How did you start with this career? How did you make it? Why did you make it?
I was recruited 18 years ago. It's a quite long time right now, by Maersk Line. At that time, they recruited me because they wanted to have someone who is able to sell different products to the customers. Right now, they are speaking about integration these days, but you have to know that this logic is quite old. So I was
Mm.
recruited at the beginning in order to sell different products to the customer: supply chain, air freight, custom clearance. So the aim at that moment was to train me and to make me able to sell these kind of products and to understand the need of the customers. Sorry. So this is how I started. So I held different position in the company, sales position, operational positions, supply chain, shipping line, freight forwarding also. So this
Okay.
is how I started my career.
Okay, interesting. So, the people who listen to my podcast come from most of them maritime industry, but we have a lot from supply chain. Uh, can you explain a little bit, because you have a lot of experience as freight forwarder? What is this job? What is your role? Or what is, I can say, how can you mix these jobs with maritime? What is your role in the maritime field,
Mhm,
actually?
mhm. Um, the shipping is 80% of the trade so a great part of the freight forwarding is shipping, is maritime. Freight forwarders is a customer for the shipping lines. He's also a vendor because he's selling this kind of product. He is also a lobby because the freight forwarders are very important. They have a very big weight in this industry. So we are very, very well connected to the maritime industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you work with different kind of transport. I mean, it can be the ships itself, but it can be airplane, trucks. It's all aspects of transportation.
Mhm.
Okay,
So the products can be transported by airplane, by trucks. They can be transported by train also, by barge. Yeah, so we have different mean
on
of transportation. Yeah, but the
okay on
shipping is the most important one. Yeah.
okay. Yes, the most common one. On is it your role to choose the right transportation if you need to take into account the cost, the time of delivery, this kind of stuff? Is it your role as a freight forwarder?
It can be the role of the freight forward, but uh, it is the customer who
Mm.
choose the mode of transport because
Oh,
they have imperative. They have imperatives. They have deadlines. So they are going to tell you, I would like to ship by air. But as a freight forwarder, maybe you have to give them advice. Maybe you tell
ah,
them it's better to ship by shipping line, by maritime, by sea, because we are going to gain money, because we are going to be more efficient, because yeah. So you are here to assist the customer to choose
oh,
the best way of transportation.
Okay, so it's you can be kind of consultant for them sometimes
Yeah.
by giving
Mhm.
them advices. Okay,
Completely, completely.
okay.
Yeah.
On what is the journey? I mean, the daily journey of a freight forwarder in a big corporate company.
It is difficult to say that because in the freight forwarding you have different jobs. You have people in accounting, you have people in sales, you have people in operations. You can work for a small freight forwarder, you work for a big freight forwarder. So you cannot say a forwarder will start his day like this and they will finish his day like that.
Mm.
But it is a job where every day is different because sometimes you can start your day in Monday, for example, you can start your week Monday morning and you don't have you say to yourself, okay, it is going to be a quiet week or a quiet day. But finally you encounter issues and
Mm.
finally the quiet day is not really a quiet day.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. But what kind of difficulties, challenge you can have on in this job?
You can have customs issues, documentation issues, transportation issues.
Mm.
Sometimes you have containers that you like to ship, but I don't know. Maybe the shipping line didn't ship them because them because they didn't had space. Maybe the shipper didn't give you the cargo because the cargo was not ready. The truck was not there because I don't know. Maybe the truck encountered an issue. So this
Okay.
is your job as a freight forwarder. This is the value that you bring. You bring a value because you are here, you are watching everyone, every step, and you try to find solutions. If your truck doesn't come, what is the solution?
Mm.
Maybe you will have to have another truck. Maybe you will have to book another departure. You will have to call maybe the shipper in order to delay the loading. So
Okay.
you are playing with different actors and you are making them work together. So
Okay.
you work on collaboration.
Okay. Talking about these actors, I mean, so you have the shipping company.
You do not represent as a freight forwarder the shipping lines. You are a customer of them.
Okay.
So you choose them. You give privilege to some of them because you have good collaboration with them. You have good rates.
Mm.
You find the service better. Sometimes a shipping company can be very good, and sometimes they can have, maybe not a good service. So you have to switch, and
Okay.
you know the strength of each line. Because all the lines are not the same. You have shipping lines which are very strong. I don't know in container transportation, on specific trade. Sorry, you have shipping lines that are very good. For example, in short sea, small distances.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Okay. Another
Mm.
point, quite interesting. You know, the charter manager, this kind of job. You know, the intermediate who needs to book the
The
space on board
vessels.
the ship.
hmm
How do you collaborate with them?
You do not. I do not think that you deal with them directly.
Okay.
You deal with sales, with the operations, with customer service. You do not deal with the charter manager at the shipping lines. I don't think so, unless there is a specific need. But
Okay.
your contacts are mainly sales, customer service. Yeah, those are your contacts.
Okay. How many years did you work in as a freight forwarder?
As a freight forwarder, maybe 16 years.
16 years. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you have such a nice and big experience in this field. Can you talk a little bit about your new company you create, Open Forwarders? What is
yeah.
it exactly?
Freight forwarder. Sorry. Um,
Open Forwarder.
I'm sorry.
No
Yeah,
problem.
Open Forwarders has two jobs. One of them is to sell a TMS, a transport management system for freight forwarders. I represent a very good transport management system, which is called Longitude. It's a global actor, and I represent them in France. The second activity is what we call BPO, business process outsourcing. That means that I provide to the freight forwarders, I provide them outsourcing services. They may have need to have an inside sales, for example, or they may have need to have more people in the customer service. So I'm giving them those resources.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
launched this company how many y- weeks, month, a year?
Yeah, it's not yours yet.
Yeah.
It is only a month. I've launched this company in June, but I was thinking about this project since many years. You know, with speaking with freight forwarders, I have seen two things, two kind of issues. Um, they may not have the proper transport management system. They are finding issues. They are updating. They're making the same update many times. They do not can use. They're not using, for example, some features properly. I can speak, for example, about electronic booking. I can speak about customer relationship management
Yeah.
system, CRM, what we call CRM, in order to manage your customer, in order to manage your prospects, in order to make your quotations also. And the second issue that I found also is the issue that I found, sorry, is a shortage in recruitment. They may have found issues to recruit sales, to recruit people in the customer service, to recruit, yeah, to find experienced people. This can be the issue. So I try to work on those
Okay.
matters.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's a digitalization actually. I-
it is digitalization. Yes.
what what
Mhm.
can you say about digitalization in this field? I mean, in the upcoming years, it will be more and more important. People just use IT everywhere. Uh, did you see the change from when you start in this industry, or it's like evolving?
Yeah. I saw some improvement in the industry. You have to know that our industry is innovative. We have a lot of innovation. We may think that we are
Yeah.
very old industry where we do not have innovation. That's wrong. We are involved in international trade, so we are aware about new regulations. We are aware about new tools. There is a lot of innovation
Mm.
from many actors, the shipping lines, the airlines, the freight forwarders, the customs. So we have a lot of innovation, but also we have to be careful because there are sometimes some buzzwords. We heard some years ago, for example, about blockchain. Everybody was speaking about blockchain. Blockchain is going to make some revolution in the industry. So we are going to work completely differently. Now, we are not speaking about blockchain anymore. We had some
Mm.
projects here and there. Of course, as a freight forwarder, we need to be aware about technology. We need to be following those technology. We should not miss the train. Um, but
Mm.
what I can see right now is that even small features, they are not very well implemented. They are struggling implementing CRM. They are struggling implementing or using the TMS properly. So those, maybe before making any revolution, we need to use what we have properly.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
interesting. It's kind
Mm-mm.
of the same in the maritime industry, but we have less, CRM, this kind of, we have a lot actually, but it's like not as developed as in the supply chain logistics industry. I mean, you have many solution, online solution. What kind of features freight forwarder need actually? Can you talk a little bit about it?
The features that they need to manage the shipments. So they need to have visibility on the shipment. They need to track the containers.
Okay.
It is better to have a live tracking than making the updates manually. If you insert, I don't know, a container number, an ETD, an ETA,
Mm.
bef instead of checking every day what is the status of the container, it is better to have these kind of things updated automatically. You have also the documentation. As we still need documentation, we are transporting goods that belongs to people. So we need to have the document showing the ownership of the cargo.
Okay.
We need to follow our prospects, our customers. We need to calculate our margins to see where we are losing money, where we are gaining money, what is interesting. What can we develop more? Is it better I don't know, to make imports from China to Europe, or is it better to make export from Europe to China or to Africa? Where we are gaining money?
Yes.
Who is performing also well in the company? Maybe, yeah, who is performing well? How much files each one is doing?
Mm.
Uh, yeah, those
Okay.
kind of things. Um, so we need also the CRM in order to check our prospects, our markets. So yeah.
Okay. But do we have a lot of, because I think you have a big competition, I mean, many CRM, but what is the most famous one? Which one most of freight forwarder use nowadays?
Excel.
Oh yeah.
Excel is the most
Excel.
famous one.
Very
I think that you are familiar with it.
yeah.
It's okay to work with Excel. We have a lot of Excel sheets. We have a lot of so but it is time consuming and it's not done for that. And each one is going to have his own file.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
have a wonderful one which is called Longitude.
Oh, logic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I imagine. Wow, interesting. Okay. So digitalization. So we talk about it. Important. Why is important in the in logistics? What kind of news can you see in this industry right now? Except, of course, IT, but maybe in terms of sustainability or other challenges we have. Did you see any change?
The challenges that we have right now are regarding CO2 calculation, for example. Um, so we need to know what is our path, what we are, when we transport a cargo, can we do it better? Can we transport it in a better way? We can see also right now that the shipping lines are making some innovation in order to improve their vessels uh, in order to reduce the pollution. What we have, so as a freight world, you need to be aware about that. You need
Okay.
to have the proper tool in order to choose the right line, the right vessel, the right, you know,
Fantastic.
uh, mm, mm.
When you choose a line of company, etc., what kind of criteria you need to take into account? So, of course, the price, but what else?
Yeah, the rate, of course,
Right. Yeah.
the service also. If you transport with, I don't know, with a ship line, but you are not, but you experience a lot of delay in
Mm.
having the cargo. Uh, and also, it also depends on your connection also with some shipping lines. There are shipping lines that you will prefer because you have strong connection with them, and if you have any issue, you will know directly who to call. Uh, of course, speaking about CO2 calculation, you are going to also depending also on if you have the same price, the same service, maybe you're going
Yeah.
to give privilege to a company that is, I mean, all the cases, I think that you will do that,
Mm.
that is making some innovation in
Okay.
the CO2 calculation and these kind of things.
Okay. Are you dealing with Incoterm?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
This is
You
the
know it.
most difficult thing that you have to understand at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is when you start in the industry. When you start in the industry, yeah, you start hearing about FOB, CIF,
Mm.
GAP, but once you master this kind of thing, it's basic. It's something basic for you.
Yeah, it's not on my list of questions, this one, but maybe we can talk a little bit about Incoterm because it's quite interesting. What kind of Incoterm most of time we use? I mean, of course it depends, but do we have some one Incoterm like very common in the industry?
FOB, free on board,
Okay.
or custom freight. It is the two most commons. So you would like me to explain what is FOB and what is
Yes,
CIF,
for
right?
everyone. I mean, we don't know.
Okay, so you have
Please.
a seller and you have a buyer. So if it is FOB, the seller is going to be responsible for cargo up to the vessel, up to onboard the vessel.
Okay.
Okay? If it is CIF, you are responsible for selling the cargo and shipping the cargo up to the final port, but you're not responsible for the discharge of the container at the destination port.
Okay. When
Yeah.
you are talking about responsible in case of issue, so it's your responsibility. So do you have your own insurance, or it works about insurance?
It works about ownership, so you are the owner of the cargo.
Yeah.
For example, if you are selling in CIF, you are the owner of the cargo up to the final port.
Yeah.
You are also, if you lose your cargo, you are going to, if there is any issue with the cargo, if you lose your cargo, it will be your own cargo that you lost.
Okay.
Of course, yeah. So you need insurance in order to insure the cargo in its
Okay.
journey.
Did you have experience like that when you lost there is like a problem in the cargo? How did you manage this situation if you had this situation?
I didn't lost cargo, hopefully not. But yeah, of course, you can have damages. You can have damages.
Oh yeah.
You can have damages on board. Uh, you know, so if you do not have the proper insurance, you are going to,
Yeah.
you are going to have to face,
Any
severe
issues.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah. What about
For
the
example, I can give you an example. For example, one day I was called by the port because the container that I was shipping, on inside this container, we had coils.
Mm,
So, steel coils. The steel coils, they are very heavy, and the weight is in the same. It's not it's not dispatched in all the container. It is,
okay.
very heavy in few points. So the container was destroyed by the coil.
Oh.
So my cargo damaged the container and also damaged other containers.
Oh. Oh
So
wow.
so if you don't have the insurance, it can be, a severe issue. And of course, you pay a lot of charges because they are going to discharge the container. They're going to stop the operation of discharging
Mm,
the vessel, and they're going to discharge your cargo differently.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of cargo is the most like complicated to manage? When as a freight forwarder you say, "Oh, I'm quite stressed right now because I have this type of cargo,
Personal
and
effect, I
I'm
think.
sure we will have an issue."
Personal effect.
Oh yeah.
I think it is personal effect. When you deal with, I don't know,
Okay.
with personal effect, someone is going to, to contact you. It's not B2B, it's B2C.
Oh
When
yeah.
someone contacts you to this, personal, what you call personal effect, that means that someone is going to transport their goods. How do you say it?
So,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
you understand it?
Yeah, understand their own personal goods, and he will call you many times. He wants to track everything every 3 minutes, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're going to, to ask you a lot of questions. You have to be, to be very patient.
Yeah.
You will also face, sometimes they ship inside the container, but they don't know what they shipped.
Mm.
Sometimes you can have something that is not declared. I don't know, maybe they may have dangerous cargo, but they didn't say to you that there is something dangerous.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh, in this.
so yeah, it is you have sorry, some freight forwarders which are specialized on these kind of things, but I always try to avoid the personal effects.
Okay. 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 Good to know.
But of course, there are in fact, as a freight forwarder, you are going to check everything, and you are going to make sure that there is no dangerous cargo inside, or if there is any dangerous cargo inside the container, you will make everything in order to declare it, of course.
So I want to now to ask you other questions regarding more the young people want to start in supply chain, especially freight forwarder. What kind
Mhm.
of studies, what kind of abilities they need to succeed in this kind of jobs?
They need to be curious. This is the first quality that they need to have. They need to be always volunteer also. You should not, as a person, you should not stay in your comfort zone. If you do something and you enjoy it, you should not stay there, your whole career. You need to see a lot of things, different things. You need to be
Mm.
involved in operation. You need to be involved in sales. You need to see the import, the export. You need to ship different kind of cargoes in order to compare, in order to learn from this and that. Maybe you should not work only in containers. You should also see how we ship cargo in break bulk, in air freight. Um, you
Okay.
should also to be aware about custom clearance, things like that. Yeah.
What kind of alternatives they have because we are freight forwarder on what other jobs we can have around this field?
But the different jobs that you have as a freight forwarder are, I don't know, sales,
Okay.
inside sales, outside sales. So inside sales, you stay in the office and you try to find customers. You make the offers. You call the customers. You call the prospects.
Mm.
Um, this is inside sales. Outside sales, you do the both. You stay in the office, but you have also meetings outside. You try to see the customers outside.
Okay. Okay.
You have customer service. Customer service, you have people in documentation, people making the bookings, people making the bill of ladings, invoicing.
Mm.
So this is the customer service.
Okay.
You have also people involved in custom clearance, making the customs declarations.
Okay. More the
Mm,
paperwork. On
mm,
about operation side, I mean more managing the tracking, this kind of stuff. I
mhm.
think it's important as well.
Yeah, it can be considered as customer service. So you are,
Okay.
as a customer service person, you are going to make the coordination between the tracking company, the custom clearance agent, the shipping line. So this is the 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 task of the yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now I want to ask you these questions more personal. Can you share like anecdote, something like in your career you had in the past, you keep in mind on, I mean, you really want to share something. Yeah.
Yeah, when I started my career, I was recruited by Maersk at that moment, and we had business addresses where emails where we were receiving general emails to the department. So we are in copy on many emails. Uh, so really, I was completely lost with a lot of abbreviations.
Oh, yeah.
ETD, ETA, FOB, I don't know what else, uh, SWE. So really, I was completely lost. But one experienced colleague, she told me, you have to read everything, even if you don't understand, you have to read everything. So I tried, yeah, I must admit that the first month was difficult. And I thought
Oh,
of leaving the company. I said,
oh
"Oh no,
wow.
no, it is not for me. It is, too complex."
Oh, wow.
But I started, reading the emails and trying to, to understand concept, each time a different concept. I didn't stop learning. From that moment, I didn't stop learning. So your strength also as a freight forwarder is to understand the concepts, to understand to understand, the terminology, to understand the documentation, to understand the situations. This is a strength also that you have as a freight forwarder.
Okay. So what did
Mm.
you, how do you project yourself in the upcoming years in this industry?
I would like to continue serving the freight forwarders as a provider for digitalization, for for outsourcing also. This is, my objective is to also to be aware about the technologies, the innovations, try to see what can be, good for a freight forwarder to have or not, and give them advice on technologies. This is my aim.
Okay.
I told you I didn't stop learning, so I do not want to stop learning.
Okay.
I would like to be always the first to know what is happening in the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about because you are based in France? What about the market in France in comparison with other
Mhm.
countries in Europe? Is it different? Do we have a lot of more stuff, more special things in this market?
Not really. We don't have something specific.
Yeah.
We may have some different systems because each country has its own system. The customs system in France is not the same customs system in other countries. Even if it's, European, if you speak about Europe, even if it's European customs, each country, they have a different tools, different, maybe terminology because you are speaking in French. We have also what we call a cargo community system, CCS. The CCS in France are different, even if the philosophy is the same than in other countries, but the job is the same. If you take a freight forwarder here and you put it in Thailand, he would be able to work.
Yeah.
Maybe he will face difficulties in the, maybe they will have, language barriers, but except that, you take it here and you put it in other country, he will be able to work.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because for example, shipping maritime more, you have this aspect of geography, because it's related to ocean, all characteristic you need depending the vessel. You have Panamax vessel, capsized, all kind of vessels, and you need to take into consideration this. And if you don't know this special area in the world, it will be harder for you to adapt. So you need time to do it. So that's all my point. That's why I ask you this question. But it's good to know that as freight forwarder, you can be very versatile and just travel everywhere, and you can at least do something,
Yeah. Of course, you have to adapt. You have to adapt to the market. The job is the same. It is the same here. It is the same in other countries. Maybe maybe we will have some little differences, but it is the same job.
Okay.
We speak the same language. We are doing the same job. Yeah.
All in English, like international business. I mean,
it is. Yeah, the main language is English, and
English.
when you speak with people in Korea or you speak with people in India or in other countries, you speak with them in English. Yeah.
Did you travel a lot as freight forwarder? You don't need actually.
I lived in 4 countries, but I didn't really travel a lot. I will not say that, but I lived in Tunisia, in Morocco, in France, in Greece.
Okay.
So I have worked as a freight forwarder in these 4 countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. Nice. So I think it's the end of the episode. If you want to add something, do not hesitate. It's the moment.
So I find it interesting to have this kind of exchange. So what I would like to say is, if you are young, if you are watching this podcast, you have to learn, you have to be curious, you have to be to find answers to questions.
Fine answer.
So yeah. When you start, you don't have experience, but the experience comes. You have to learn, and you should not say that you know everything. If you say that you learn, that you know everything, that's the end. You are not going to improve.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You're looking for the information. That's very important. And always looking for the market, the news. I mean, be aware of what is going on
Of course.
in the current moment. I mean. Nice. Thank you, Charles, for this podcast. It was a pleasure. It's not common for me to talk about supply chain and logistics. It's not my field of expertise. So sorry if I ask you like very basic questions, but I think it's important to know for people, for example, in maritime, because it's quite related. At least they understand what is your job, how it works, what is the challenges you have. So thank you to talk about it.
Okay. Thank you, Paul-Louis. Thank you for this moment. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, for me as well. I wish you a very good day and see you around, maybe in Normandy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening and watching this episode. We are looking forward to bring you more inspiring stories from maritime professionals, experts, and students. Do not hesitate to leave a review on Apple Podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Your support means a lot to us. and it greatly helps in our continuous growth. We're committed to bringing you more exciting episodes with passionate guests.